to be honest, I've really struggled with the doom and gloom of the last 3 or 4 days surrounding West Ham. Sorry, that's a bit dark, isn't it? There you go. It's been tough, all right? We were phenomenal against Crystal Palace. Absolutely brilliant. So many people were saying it's the best they've seen us play, which was really impressive, bearing in mind we've already beaten Wolves and Leicester 3 and 4-0. But I think because of the defeat against Liverpool, I think because a lot of us are bought into the whole dream of going fourth, I think that really knocked us. It was a terrible performance. We didn't really contest that, and I still think now, if we'd have played against Liverpool in the way that we played against Aston Villa, I think we would have got something for the game. But we didn't. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But my point was, it was an isolated defeat. They always are, it seems, isolated defeats. We don't seem to lose 3 or 4 games. But I think the negativity around the club, because of that, and because of also what followed in terms of bringing no striker in the transfer window, it made it seem like we had lost. Do you know what I mean? The vibe of the club felt like it was a 7-loss losing streak, and we were down near the bottom of the league. I didn't feel the mood really reflected where we were, and quite what a healthy position the team was in, and what a good job David Moyes had done. And all I can say is, when I listened to David Moyes' press conference, he seemed happy with the decision that he had made, which was, I'm just going to bring Jesse Lingard in. I'm going to save myself. His words, I'm going to save my striker money for the summer. Lingard's cool. Lingard will do me right now. Pardon the expression. He'd get more than his money's worth there, wouldn't he? Certainly. What I saw, what I've just witnessed in that game against Aston Villa was nothing short of phenomenal. And I've got to be honest with you, I couldn't get enough. I found it completely lifted me spirits in terms of the football going on. I couldn't get enough. I couldn't get enough West Ham. I could not get enough Jesse Lingard. He was a talk about an impact on a team. He must have been absolutely desperate to get out there and play. He's clearly very, very desperate to go out and prove himself. All Jesse Lingard is guilty of is not being as good as Bruno Fernandes. Well, that's fine. Most of us are, apart from myself, of course. But what we saw was him knitting the whole team together. I felt Lingard's performance made Antonio function even better. And I'm not calling Antonio dysfunctional. Far from it. He was brilliant last season. He's been brilliant this season. But I also felt that he made Said Benrahma function as well. I felt he made Said Benrahma produce his best game. Benrahma's work rate has been improving now for the last 4 or 5 games. I actually thought he worked really hard against Liverpool. I thought he won the battle, if you remember, of the Championship wingers in the game against Crystal Palace with Eze and himself. But he really started to impose himself on there. But today, we saw his work rate. Sorry, yesterday, should I say? It's only about an hour after the game's finished now, so it's still today for me. I felt that Benrahma suddenly started producing absolute quality, and you could see it in some of the balls, some of the passes, some of the dribbles. But there was a determination to him. But more importantly, there was a huge understanding with Benrahma and with Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard at Manchester United's clearly been used to playing with very, very good players and training with very good players who are on probably a different wavelength to most. Say what you want about Paul Pogba, and I've probably said quite a lot, because he chooses how and when and if and why he turns up. Paul Pogba's the best player in the world when he chooses to do so. And he doesn't choose to do so often enough. Yeah, I would imagine playing with him is quite a joy to behold. Training alongside him, you probably learn an awful lot. And when you are training alongside players with that amount of skill, and players like obviously Bruno Fernandes and any of the other wonderful and naturally gifted players Manchester United have got, you're used to playing with a certain level. And I just thought that when Jesse Lingard found himself in the West Ham team, he thought, I recognise this style of play. I know this guy. I know what Benrahma's wanting to do. And Benrahma was probably thinking, oh, thank goodness. I thought a couple of times when Lanzini's played alongside Benrahma, only a couple of times. I'm talking fleeting glimpses here. There's been times where they'll do pass and move. They'll play triangles. They're just on the same wavelength. But Lanzini's never going to feature enough in the team for that to prove productive. And I think by and large is because Lanzini is not able to bring the other parts of his game that Lingard is going to be able to bring, which I'm going to list in just a second. But they had an understanding, an instant understanding. And what Lingard brought, aside from I felt a huge amount of joy to watching the game, I couldn't wait for him to get on the ball. After the first half, at the end of the first half, I said in the review, I felt he was tiring after whatever, 38, 39, 40 minutes, whatever the case may be. And I thought, oh, I hope he's not knackered. I would have understood it if he was, but I hope he's not. I just want to see more and more of this guy. Can't get enough. And he came out for the second half, and he'd clearly, you know, Moyes had dished out the orange segments or whatever. And he came out rejuvenated. And what he brought was a massive energy, a massive amount of commitment, and he'd bought into the cause. He'd also bought into the style of play. I thought he was absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'll touch on another play. Actually, I'm going to do another video later on to discuss everyone. I'll go for a walk in the park. We'll discuss other members of the team. I'll roughly keep it to the front three now, and I'll get to what I consider to be the front three in just a second. But I just want to make the point about Lingard in terms of the transfer and all the rest of it. I'm not going to now look. I can't now look and start getting negative about Lingard. I've been sick of the negativity, as you might have told. You might have been able to tell last few videos, last few days. I'm not going to now start bemoaning the fact that we haven't signed him on a permanent transfer. We may well still sign him on a permanent transfer, and I'm going to enjoy him while he's here. He might just fall between the margins. Those great players like Ogbonna, who are not quite good enough to be a regular for Italy or Juventus, but absolutely outstanding at a club of West Ham size. I would not blame David Moyes, by the way, for thinking, well, hold on, look, you know, in the build-up, people were saying, where does Jesse Lingard play? We've got no space. We've signed the wrong player. He's probably thinking, well, there you go. And he's probably thinking, well, this sounds very familiar because everyone was saying that we shouldn't sign Dawson. Why are we signing Craig Dawson? Wouldn't blame David Moyes for saying, well, this is exactly why I decide and I do the transfers. And I, for one, I'm glad. And actually, do you know what? I'm interested to see who brings in next time, because I actually think his transfers are really good. If what we've got to do is go back retrospectively and hit him with a Hugel stick, then he ain't doing too bad, really, is he? If what we've got to do is pick the bones of it apart and say, oh, that's a Sullivan sign, this, that and the other, forget it. Let's be perfectly clear about this. Whoever you think has signed who, Bowen has been a success. Souček's been a success. Even I'd argue bringing Randolph back was a success. Soufal has been sensational. And he's also, I mean, you know, look at just what he's done now by bringing in Jesse Lingard. That's really good. And even Benrahma's looking like it's starting to work out now. Who's the next player being brought in by David Moyes? Have I left anyone out? I can't think. But anyway, whoever the next player is being brought in by David Moyes, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing what David Moyes has got lined up next. And let's just go back to that front three. Because I say front three. The system was weird because of what happened with Ryan Fredericks. We'll talk about him later when we go for a stroll. I hope it's not bloody raining, by the way. What I saw was, so normally, let's say it's a bit of a front four, if you like. Antonio up top, let's say Fornals, Benrahma and Bowen. This was slightly different because Fredericks was a little bit deeper and Fredericks was sort of trying to help out. He did attack, but he was given a job to do and he did it very, very well. I felt the way we were attacking was a front three, which was Lingard, was Benrahma, and was Antonio. Now, don't get me wrong. They all got back and did their defending when we didn't have the ball and closed down. They did all the stuff that Moyes will want them to do. But when we attacked, boy, did we attack. And they seemed to have an understanding about them. And Lingard just seems to understand the benefit of not leaving Antonio isolated. He very, very quickly cottoned on to the fact that you get close to Antonio, you're going to pick up on things. And I think that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with an intelligent player. And he is a massively intelligent player. The old, as I've discussed a few times on this, and a few of you have even mentioned to me, never buy a player that's doing you a favour. That thinks he's doing you a favour. It's not always good to buy players from clubs who are taking a step down, because they don't have the desire. Sometimes they're big time Charlies. Think, oh, you know, whatever. I used to play for Manchester United. I'd want to play for you. But sometimes it does work. And actually, Moyes has got history of making this work. And I'll give you the example of Phil Neville, who he signed from Man United for Everton, and I mean, just had some wonderful service for him at Everton. Jesse Lingard is not going to be feeling that that he's doing West Ham a favour. And from everything I've seen of him and his videos and everything that I've seen him do, he's grateful to be at West Ham. He's grateful for the opportunity. Grateful for the opportunity to show himself to be the quality player, which he undoubtedly is. And also grateful for the opportunity, bearing in mind he's had a tough, we've discussed before on here, because of his mum and his granddad, and because he's had to become the carer for his brother and sister, and of course whilst looking after his own child as well, has been a really difficult 18 months for him. So I think grateful for the opportunity to do that. But the mental fortitude it must take to spend all that time out the game, to not really be training, to not be featuring, to know that really you're thought by the manager as surplus to requirements, and then just to drop in your first game and hit the ground running. Not just hit the ground running. Be dropped into a Premier League game against a good team, and Aston Villa are a good team, and be the best player. There wasn't an awful lot of talk. I've got to say, I do. In the preview, there were a couple of people saying they fancy Lingard goals tonight. But not many people were. It was the Jack Grealish show. It was how are we gonna cope with Jack Grealish. Not many people tipped Jesse Lingard to be the outstanding player on that pitch, and he absolutely was. The way he knitted the team together, I thought was sensational. Very happy to drop deep and just take the ball off Souček or Rice. Very happy to go wide and play little 1-2s and triangles and whatnot. Getting close to Antonio, as I've already said. These were all features of a performance which I just thought was absolutely outstanding. What do you want from your attacking midfielder? I don't know what, but I'll list what I thought he gave. Attitude, endeavour, teamwork, fitness, pace, passing, technique. When I say technique, the ability to turn, the ability to dribble, the ability to manipulate the ball, understand, I don't know why I did the initial one, and it was all the same one really, wasn't it? An awareness of his teammates and an in-game intelligence, and finishing. It's not exactly like a FIFA card, is it? The 9 attributes. You get what I'm saying. There wasn't an awful lot wrong with what we saw there. It was outstanding in every dimension that we could possibly have asked of him. This is creating an interesting dynamic for the next game, but I don't mind it. I welcome it. Go back to the question which was posed a few times in a build-up. Where does Jesse Lingard fit in? And it's a really good question. I didn't know. I tried to deal with it when I answered it in a couple of my videos when people said, where does Jesse Lingard fit in? I said, I don't know. But I do have faith that Moyes knows what he's going to do with him. Crikey, did he? He really did. We got a manager, we got a man with a plan at the moment. And I tell you what, it is working out so brilliantly. I am loving this season. That's why I don't want to be dragged down. That's why I don't want to get involved in recriminations. And I am enjoying the football, and I want to celebrate and enjoy the football team. I really do. These are good times. Enjoy it. I know the answer to my question, your question, whoever's question. Where does Jesse Lingard fit in at West Ham? everywhere.